Why did the homeless boy shout, "Don't eat that"? Billionaires' reaction is priceless. In the heart of Midtown Manhattan, where skyscrapers shimmered like mirrors of ambition, and honking horns gave way to birdsong within the sanctuary of Celeste Park, there stood a place of quiet power. Cafe called the Pavilion. It did not advertise. It did not welcome just anyone. It whispered wealth and expected silence. Beneath a cream-colored parasol, a man in his 60s sat at a table for two. He was polished, measured, tailored from neck to sole. In one hand, a phone. In the other, silence. Steam from his truffle mushroom bisque curled into the spring air, unnoticed, untouched, forgotten. Across from him, a woman, elegant, poised, younger, sat watching. Her eyes were calm, but calculating. Her lips moved not in conversation, but in tightly drawn lines of restraint. She held a silver purse on her lap. Her fingers toyed with a clasp. One glance around. No eyes, no cameras, no witnesses. Then, a shift, a move. The purse opened without a sound. Out came a tiny vial. Clear liquid, unlabeled, unseen except by the sun, which caught its glass edge for a heartbeat before she dipped it, quietly, into his bowl. One drop, two, three. She stirred with a practiced grace, as if mixing honey into tea, and when she was done, she folded her hands and waited. He never looked up, but someone else did. Just beyond the garden fence, where the world turned harder and colder, a boy stood, 13, maybe, barefoot, filthy, forgotten. His shirt clung to him with dirt and sweat, his stomach hollow with hunger. But his eyes were fire. They watched, unblinking, unforgiving. He had seen the streets devour kindness before, seen lies, seen theft, seen cruelty. But this was something else. His heart pounded. He gripped the metal bars of the gate so tightly they left marks in his skin. He hesitated, because who would believe him? Dirty child? A street ghost? No voice, no power. Then the man lifted the spoon, and the boy's voice exploded from his chest. "Don't eat that." The cafe stilled. Knives paused mid-cut. Conversations ended in breathless silence. Chairs scraped. Necks turned. Eyes found the source of the cry. A boy, breathless, wild-eyed, standing in the middle of the patio. He had slipped through the open gate. His bare feet slapped against clean tiles. His chest heaved with urgency. "Don't eat that." He shouted again. "Please, don't eat it." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A waiter stepped forward. A woman nearby clutched her pearls. The young wife stood up abruptly. Her chair toppled with a clatter. She demanded to know what was happening. Her voice, cold, sharp, sliced through the tension. How dare this filthy child interrupt? What lies was he telling? What scam was he running? She said he just wanted attention. Said he was hoping for a handout. But the boy stood his ground. His body trembled, but his voice, it held steel. "I saw her," he said. She took something from her purse. She poured it into the soup. She stirred it when no one was watching. She looked around first, to make sure no one would see. Everyone stared. Then slowly, the man at the table lowered his spoon. He looked at the boy, then at the woman, then at the bowl. The silence deepened. The man stood. Not quickly, not angrily, but as if something in him had shifted, irreversibly. And then his voice came, even, measured, dead calm. "Call the police." And the spoon sat untouched, while the boy, barefoot and breathless, stood beneath a storm of silence. The wail of sirens came not with fury, but with certainty, sharp and sure. A promise that truth would be forced into the light. Two officers arrived at the pavilion. One, tall, pale, with eyes that scanned like scanners. The other, broad-shouldered, dark-skinned, and calm. Not calm like disinterest, but calm like a man who had seen too much. and learn to listen. The crowd parted. Waiters stepped back. Conversations died into murmurs. The boy stood still, his hands slightly raised, as if even breathing too loudly might undo what he had just done. The officers moved quickly. One took the boy aside, led him gently toward the edge of the patio, offered a bottle of water, and crouched to meet his eyes. The boy hesitated, then spoke, not with the wild urgency of before, but with a quiet fire, still burning in his throat. He told him what he saw, said she had looked at the man, not with love, not with hate, but with something hollow, like she wasn't even really there anymore. He said she waited, then acted. He described the vial, small, glass, no bigger than a finger. Something clear inside, something wrong. He said she stirred the soup like she was fixing her napkin. Casual, calculated, like she'd done it before. Meanwhile, she sat just where she had been, arms folded, back rigid, a portrait of disdain. She interrupted, said it was ridiculous, said she had never seen this boy in her life, that he was making it all up, looking for attention, a handout, a spectacle. The dark-skinned officer didn't argue. He simply walked to her table, lifted her purse, opened it carefully, and reached inside. A pause. Then he pulled something out, a tiny vial, glass, clear, with a faint white label curling at the edges. The boy leaned forward, whispering, "That's it. That's exactly it." The officer read the label softly, just loud enough for a few to hear. Digitalis extract. The word hung there. Strange, foreign, deadly. A silence swallowed the cafe. The woman's face twitched, then cracked. She opened her mouth, but nothing came. Her hands began to tremble, ever so slightly, as though something deep inside her was unraveling. She laughed, a short, hard laugh, and said it was a vitamin, something for her skin. Then, a supplement, her doctor's recommendation. Then, a mistake. Her voice broke. She looked down at her own hands, as if surprised they were still attached to her, as if she no longer recognized herself. She began to cry, not loudly, not beautifully, just tears, raw and uneven, sliding down her cheeks, like something inside her had finally cracked. She said she didn't mean to kill him, only to make him sick, weak, tired enough to need her. She said she was tired, so tired, tired of being decorative, tired of smiling in pictures, tired of dressing for someone else's idea of perfection. Every morning, she said, he looked at market trends, at profits, at screens, but never at her. She said she felt like wallpaper, like something hung in the background of his life. He had everything, and somehow, she had nothing. She wanted to matter. Her voice grew soft, and the rage inside her faded, leaving only a woman, lonely, invisible, and broken. A silence fell again. The man had not moved since the vial appeared. He stood beside his chair, as if rooted to the ground. His hands hung at his sides, still, empty. He looked at her, but not with anger, not even with pain. He looked at her, like someone seeing a stranger, for the very first time. Then, he turned his face away. No words, no outburst, just silence, like something inside him had gone quiet and would never speak again. The officers stepped forward. One reading rights, the other gently guiding her arms behind her back. Cuffs clicked. Tears dripped onto polished stone. She did not resist. Guests watched in stunned silence as the woman was led away, down the same path she had walked just minutes earlier. Only this time, she did not walk alone. In the middle of it all, the boy remained still, not triumphant, not proud, just there. He had been heard. He had been believed. He had stopped something terrible. And yet, he felt none of the warmth, none of the light that stories promised heroes would feel. only the heaviness of it, of everything, of a world that had broken in two, right in front of him, a world where being right still felt very, very wrong. And above him, the breeze blew softly through the trees, unaware, unchanged, unconcerned. Later that evening, the city seemed to breathe differently. The noise of the day faded slowly into a calm hush. The warm golden light dipped behind the jagged skyline, casting long shadows over the quiet streets of Midtown Manhattan. In the corner of Celeste Park, beside the black iron gates of the Pavilion Cafe, the boy sat alone on a worn wooden bench. A paper bagel, half-eaten, rested beside him on the weathered slats. The soft cooing of pigeons fluttered through the air, tracing lazy arcs above the quiet scene. He stared at nothing in particular, lost somewhere between hunger and thought. He thought it was over. The chaos, the fear, the impossibility of being believed. All of it behind him now. But deep down, a knot tightened. The world was not kind to boys like him. It had never been kind. And then, from the shadows, a figure emerged. No entourage followed. No glimmer of gold or flashing cameras. No wife, no phone, no distractions. Just a man. The same man from the cafe. He moved with careful steps, not sure if the boy would stay or run. But the boy did not move. The man sat down beside him quietly. For a long moment, neither spoke. The fountain in the park bubbled softly in the background, water catching the last rays of sunlight. Finally, the man broke the silence. He said the boy had saved his life. It was not a grand speech. No praise. Just simple words. The boy shrugged. He had not thought of it like that. He had only done what felt right. The man looked at him. He asked if the boy had anyone. Family. Place to go. The boy shook his head. No, not really. Only shelters. Only sidewalks. Only nights spent under the cold sky. He said it did not matter. The man looked surprised. He said it did matter more than the boy realized. From inside his coat pocket, the man pulled a small card, clean, white, embossed with gold lettering. He told the boy about a foundation, one he had started years ago for kids like him. Kids invisible to the world, forgotten by everyone but themselves. He said the foundation could give the boy food, a warm bed, school, a future. The boy hesitated. He had heard promises before. Many promises. All forgotten. He asked the man why this time would be different. The man looked him in the eyes, not down at him, but eye to eye, and said, "Because you saw me when I didn't see anything at all. Because you did the right thing even when the world would have blamed you for staying silent." The boy did not answer, but his fingers closed slowly around the card. For the first time in a long time, he did not feel invisible. The city around them continued to quiet down. The lights flickered on one by one, and in that small moment, under the fading sun and rising stars, something new began. Hope. Moral of the story: never underestimate someone because of their appearance or their past. Sometimes the loudest truth comes from the quietest corners, and sometimes the poorest soul carries the richest heart. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more powerful and inspiring tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And check out our other videos for stories that will move and inspire you. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel.